Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritually Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a deeper look at the new moon in Taurus. Now, this new moon is really interesting. This new moon is setting the stage for all of the direction of what we're going to be going through over the next few weeks, but it's also the aftermath type of energy. And I don't mean this negatively per se. For some people, there will be some negative impacts of what's going to be revealed in the week following the new moon. But I do feel like there is going to be a level of scrutiny tied to whatever has been shaken up over the course of the last 6 to 8 weeks. Now, there's a couple reasons why I'm saying that. One of those reasons has to do with the fact that this new moon is in a sextile to Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. It is exuding this feeling of like, we need change, changes in responsibilities, changes in our roles, awareness of our elders, changes tied to our elders. And whenever it comes to that level of responsibility, that level of recognition, there is positive change coming through for some. For others, though, what comes through and gets revealed in this week of the new moon is going to have something very shaking, earth-shattering, unexpected, surprising, exciting, but not for everybody. Not all of the excitement is going to be good excitement. This new moon is loosely in a conjunction to Uranus. And in the week following the new moon, we will be building to an actual Sun-Uranus conjunction that will perfect next week on the 13th. So what I said in the podcast, in the month ahead podcast, I said it in the week ahead podcast, like we have a week of expect the unexpected, expect something surprising, expect something that could be very, again, shattering and shaking to the current equilibrium. What can come through unexpectedly can have to do again with an elder. What can come through unexpectedly can be the scrutiny and the come down and harshness from an authority figure, from an elder. Some of what might be starting might be directly impacting the wellness of an elder. And I put a special emphasis now on wellness. Now, one of the things that I picked up on that I thought was very, very interesting is this new moon, we still have a planetary conjunction going on with Chiron. Now, the new moon that we had on April 8th was in a conjunction to Chiron. Mercury retrograde has now made its third and final conjunction to Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer, half god, half centaur, going from battle to battle, helping men heal their wounds. But in one particular battle, on the other side was Mars, the god of war. And the difference between his weapons and the weapons of man is he doesn't fight with the weapons of a man, he fights with the weapons of gods. And in one particular battle, an arrow was let loose. Chiron was on the other side. Damage was sustained, and Chiron lost an eye. Because he was hurt with the weapon of a god, he was not able to heal himself. So Chiron became known as the wounded healer because he would still go from battle to battle, healing the wounds of man, healing their illnesses. But he did it with the anticipation that he would not be able to always heal himself, truly showing that he could not heal himself. Mercury's conjunction to Chiron in the same time frame as this new moon. It's not exact on the day of, but it's in the midst of the energy. It's in the midst of that exact Sun Saturn sextile. I almost said Uranus again. I apologize. The Saturn Sun sextile. That is when Mercury and Chiron goes exact. So again, there is an energy around this new moon that sets a tone for how we are going to fix something, how we are going to deal with the wound, how we are going to move forward and where responsibilities are going to fall from here. For some of us, the damage that was taken through eclipse season, because again, April was a shit show, so much change. And now we're in the aftermath of that. We have to discuss on what we do to move forward and heal something and fix something and accommodate the new situations at hand. Some of you were not expecting, your work husband or your work wife or that one particular coworker that has always been the staple to disappear. You weren't expecting it. And now we're looking about what the plan is to fix something. For others of you, there is going to be a weightedness of responsibility that is directly impacting what gets revealed in this new moon. And I do truly feel like this new moon is a revelation type of new moon. We have certain things that are meant to get revealed. We have certain roles and responsibilities that we're going to have revealed to us. We're going to have certain levels of impact that is revealed. But for other people, it's not an impact at all in the negative sense. It's more like the green light. Okay, you've had weeks of training. You're ready to go. I'm going to let you loose. I'm going to let you take a shot at some things. I'm going to let you try. For others of you, the full impact of the decisions that you made to change some things throughout the Mercury retrograde are now what's coming to light, are now what's being processed, and are now given the green light to go, to move forward, to excel. For some of us, the entire Mercury retrograde eclipse timeline was like a test. Are you ready? Are you prepared? And it's really interesting because I was meditating on this last night and I had this weird dream. And it was all around a sports car. I am not a sports car person, by the way. I am a Jeeper. 100%. I am a Jeeper. I have been in Jeeps for over a decade now. It was the first car that I wanted. And I didn't finally get one until I was in my 20s. And ever since then, it has been Jeep after Jeep after Jeep after Jeep. So let's be clear about that. I am a Jeeper, not a sports car person. But what I kept dreaming about was like everybody else being super excited for this sports car that I was about to get into, that I was about to drive, that I was about to buy. And then as soon as I'm about to like slide into the seat of this said sports car, I wake up. Very interesting. But it kind of felt like it fed into that green light energy. Some people are going to go into this new moon getting the green light, getting the guidance, getting the permission, the go ahead, the clearance, so to speak, to finally press forward into something and to move into that new territory, that new ground. And again, the establishment of the new normal that all of May is meant to represent. For some of us, that new normal is going to be fun. It is going to be heartwarming. For others, it is going to be a pain in the ass. And some of what is going to be scrutinized, some of what is going to be reviewed and looked upon is going to be directly because of your actions and what has been revealed, what has been discovered. And you're not going to like the way the boss, the way that your elder, your parents, whoever the authority figure is in the situation, is going to start reviewing what you have done. And in my meditation, one of the things that I really did pick up on is that the last new moon and this new moon have a connection. However, adding a layer to that, because of the Saturn element, this new moon will also impact the Gemini new moon that we're going to have in a month. And that's its own hot mess that I'm not going to get into right now. But there's a pattern of what happened during eclipse season, leading into this new normal, leading into what gets discovered, what gets observed, what gets louder once we get into June. Because the busyness, again, of whatever this new normal is going to impact all of those Gemini transits. There is a chain effect at hand. There is a chain effect that is feeding through this energy. Now, whenever it comes to the energy around May, it's really kind of a slow moving month, and that's because it's Taurus season. Taurus transits aren't necessarily known for being fast. However, between this week with the new moon and next week with everything else, they are very impactful. And whatever is starting to unfold between this week, starting with the new moon, and next week with everything else that's going to follow, these are big shifts, big commitments, big audits, big breakthroughs, big adjustments that are going to last for a long time. They're going to be there for the long term. Now, for some people, that long term will be a year. For some people, that long term will be longer. It kind of depends on who your activation planet is, who the Time Lord is, who your chart ruler is in different aspects. But there's so much of the energy right now that is trying to get the recognition, the recollection, the full aspects of everything finalized from all of the changes, clarified from all of the changes. And there is a huge adjustment that is going to come. And the weight and impactfulness of this adjustment will be different for everybody. It will. And that's why whenever we do the new moons and full moons, that's why I do everything based off of sign. But I do feel like as much as we can have a stability based off of the fact that this is a new moon in Taurus and it is getting the sextile from Saturn, as much as we can have some level of stability for some, this is still a new moon with a close conjunction to Uranus buildings. So the stability might be good for others, but it might actually result in destabilizing later. And by later, I mean just the next few weeks. So there's a lot of energy around this new moon that many of us have been waiting on and waiting for. So that way we could finally get unstuck from something. Because that's been a pattern of something that I've been hearing through a lot of my readings lately. Is so many people are like, I just feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm not moving. I feel like nothing's happening. I feel like it's happening with everybody else. I get that. I do. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. That means wherever you have been waiting, you have been in alignment while everybody else is going through the shakeup. Just because the shaking energy over the past 6 weeks hasn't negatively or harshly or greatly impacted you does not mean that you don't have changes coming. They are coming. You're waiting for the aftermath of said shakeups, for your opportunity, for you to see the writing on the wall, for you to understand what will be next for you in the new normal. As much as there can be something that's very helpful in this energy, there can be something that is very shaky in this energy. And it really kind of comes down to if you are feeling more of the Saturnian side or the Uranian side of things. If these next 2 weeks you feel like are very hopeful and timely and exactly what you've been waiting on for so long, again, that's the Saturnian side. and the changes feel like a green light. But as much as we can have that green light, we can have the shakeups. We can have those next rounds of excitement in good and bad ways. And for many people, we feel like it's time to do in that green light will lead to some level of change in our independence. And if I start moving around a lot more this time, guys, I've switched to a ball chair and my inner child is moving a lot. Just FYI. So I might be moving around a little bit more than normal. There's your warning. Okay. Oh, I'm really digging the energy of this new moon. That's me personally, but the new moon's in my 7th house, so that's how that's going to go. But anyways, if you have never been a part of one of my new moon or full moon readings before, that is okay. I read everything from a whole house system. So for me, I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 20 degrees, as far as I'm concerned, the entire zodiac sign that your ascendant is in is your first house. And every numerical house that follows will now be associated with the next zodiac sign. So with that being said, let's get into Aries and Aries risings. Babies, this can be a really good energy for you, but this can also be a very difficult energy for you. And the reason I'm saying that is because you have Saturn in the 12th house. So let's be clear about some things. There can be some very exciting things that will result in financial changes for you over the course of the next few weeks following this new moon. Not just the new moon, we're looking at all levels around the new moon and everything, just to be clear. So there can be some exciting things that are going to come through, but there can also be some blindsiding things. It depends on where you're at. Now, again, Saturn is the elder, it is the role model, it is the authority figure, and it is making a sextile to this new moon. Some of you are going to get something from the past, allowing you to know like how you can move forward with something financially, how you can change something with your assets. And a lot of the changes in the energy has impacted you guys the most because that last eclipse, the Mercury retrograde and everything was in your first house. Now that Mars is in your first house, your chart ruler, your motivations are changing. And some of you might be looking at new ways of making money because you can't handle the way things have been going on behind your back. They have led to a lot of things feeling very, very lost in regards to whether you have taken all the right opportunities or not. Now, as your motivations are shifting, as your desires for something are shifting, you're seeing something new coming through that you have been waiting for a very, very long time. And we see the next wave of changes tied to like the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's activated your 2nd house over the course of the next few weeks. So some of you, whatever is going to change for you in regards to your finances, in regards to your assets, are going to be something that is definitely a part of that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that happened last month. But we're waiting on the rest of the planetary conjunctions to come through to activate those next few rounds of energy, those next parts of the energy. A lot of this energy for you guys is very much about charging ahead into something very, very helpful and very, very beneficial. But it's also being prepared for how fast the energy will go after certain things are revealed. So again, we've had this 4 of Cups energy. We've had something that's been going on that makes us feel like we've missed some opportunities, or we feel like we have just been passed over. We've had something that has been very much draining us in different ways. For other people, though, you haven't necessarily missed an opportunity. It's just you're feeling like people are skipping over you in some type of negative way. But there is something about like questioning where the opportunities are taking you, questioning whether you have been making the right decisions. And in a lot of ways you are. It's just trusting your instincts and trusting your intuition. And I do mean it when I say intuition. Lean into your intuition, not your ego. The North Node in your first house can really bring a lot of things tied to the ego. Mars can bring a lot more things tied to your ego. You just had the sun in your first house. A lot of things that could be activating more tied towards ego versus what is going to be beneficial for you intuitively. So make sure you're doing the right things to check yourself whenever it comes to that ego type of energy, because your intuition is super important for you in regards to where you're going next with this high priestess energy. All of your other cards speak to something really good coming through. We've got the Ace of Cups. We've got the Three of Cups. We've got the Nine of Coins. We've got the 10 of Cups. This is all like double queens, Queen of Coins, Queen of Cups, and we have this Chariot card. So when I'm saying like things are going to start moving really, really quickly, a lot of where you start to move forward next, the decisions that you take to move forward next are going to really change your motivation and allow for a lot of new things to come in. And the people that you are surrounding yourself with are very, very important with this Three of Cups energy. They're important because your tribe can make the biggest difference for you. Now, since Pluto has turned retrograde, some of you have had to leave somebody behind, and you can be mourning the idea of you're not connected to a certain person anymore, whether that is a friend, whether that is a lover, whether that is some type of partner, that could be a business partner. But between that first eclipse that happened in March 25th, and Pluto turning retrograde, you have had two different energies that speaks to leaving someone behind. And the thing is if you listen to your intuition, to that energy, you were meant to leave something or someone behind because of the way their actions were impacting you. A lot of times, whenever we keep certain people or we hold on to certain things in the energy, they can literally be the energetic block that keeps us from moving to where we're meant to be connected next. Okay, so going back to these cards again, I haven't changed anything. These are still the same cards. The Nine of Coins is an independence card. I always call it a boss bitch card. Adding in the 10 of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Coins, so many of you are dealing with something that's going on with other people. And a lot of it is going to be impacting your finances. So for some of you, the most mundane sense of what's going to happen around the new moon is like you're wanting to, you have to spend some money to travel, but you're more likely traveling back to somewhere. You're going back to some place in the past. You're dealing with something or someone from the past based off of the energy at hand. But not all of you are dealing with the past. Some of you are going to be dealing with the scrutiny of the elder, the scrutiny of a supervisor or an authority figure. And that scrutiny is what is impacting your finances. And you can feel yourself needing to separate more and more and more from this weight, from this responsibility, and from this tension. Separating from certain responsibilities will really impact the way things move forward for you, because that Nine of Coin and that 10 of Cups energy speaks to something becoming very, very bountiful, very, very plentiful, something that is going to feed to your heart's content. We have to adjust. We have to make some changes. And this speaks a lot to those kinds of changes. So much of this energy is going to impact your assets, your finances. Some of you are going to find a whole new way of making money, because that's a part of the energetic vibe that is coming through. Some of you are going to be able to sell certain things. And if you're selling things, like you're selling things from the past, and that vibration change is going to, again, allow for you to make money, but it's also like dispensing away from the assets that you have. So it's like, again, you're selling something that you already have. And that right there is going to give a whole different set of breath in how you work through something moving forward. And it's going to give you some relief from the scrutiny of whatever is going on with Saturn in your 12th house. Saturn in the 12th is going to force for a lot of you to go through certain levels of healing and spiritual awakening. And many of you over the course of the last month and a half to 2 months, you have felt the deepest impact of that level of need to heal. You've had certain things that have really adjusted within your health that has put more focus on yourself. But not only have you had the impacts to your health, but you've also had the impacts or impulses to those finances. Some of you have started doing some major spending now that so many planets are in your second house. Some of you are surprising everybody with the types of spending that you are doing, but not all of you are spending. A lot more of you are looking at different ways of how you're going to make money and be more independent moving forward. The thing about being Mars ruled is you don't always like when somebody is over the top of you. Let's just be honest about that. Okay. We're going to move this along. We're going to get to Taurus, and we're going to get to Taurus rising. Hi, babies. Guess what? It's you. You're the problem. I'm kidding a little bit. Anyways, with this new moon in your first house, so many of you are in the process of starting something new, going in a new direction, wanting new things. And we have so much energy that speaks to something new. Whatever this newness is also going to be something that deeply impacts your career, impacts your future, and impacts the way that you want to do things moving forward. Something that you guys can be doing over the course of the next few weeks can be very, very surprising to other people. It can be groundbreaking for you, the decisions that you are making. And some of you are going to find yourself being blindsided as more and more things continue to come into your first house. But with more and more things coming into your first house, you also have more control, which you like. You have a better chance of being able to control the changes of how something is going to move forward. Whatever decisions you start to make is going to be something that is going to directly impact your finances over the course of the next year. Not everything is going to be directly revealed, though, in the new moon. Now, for some of you, the new thing that's going to be impacting you, your mind, your body, your ego, is also going to impact the way that you connect with people. Because we're talking about a new moon that has a sextile to Uranus in your 11th house of friends and network and colleagues. So whatever new that you're about to do is going to impact more than just you. It's going to impact a lot of people. Many of you have been feeling stuck in a rut, stuck waiting on so many things to come up. It feels like everything from the past has just been coming through and blindsiding you. So many of you were not prepared for that energy. But now that you know, now that you are aware, you have more control of the decisions at hand, and you can start to look at the opportunities that seem so promising and so hopeful for you moving forward. Some of you can be scared that you've missed some opportunities. I don't know that so many people have missed opportunities because so much of the shakeup has been very, very purposeful to get you prepared for where new needs to happen. I've said this before, change is necessary. The thing about fixed signs is that y'all don't like change. Scorpio rising, the Taurus rising. You don't like change, guys. Change is necessary. Coming out of your shell, getting unstuck, and stop worrying about the opportunities of the past that have now left you, that you were not able to maintain, that you were not able to get at that time. Don't stay stuck on those missed opportunities, because really you have a new path that is coming through with this Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is like a fork in the road. You can continue going down this path of being stuck, feeling like things aren't going your way, feeling like you're going to be in this terrible position. You can continue to feel this way, or you can accept that there's a fork in the road and there's a new opportunity. And that means getting out of your comfort zone, Hermit card. Getting out of your comfort zone with this Hermit card and taking more of this new energy. I didn't get a new card. That's the old card again. And moving into this new energy. Once you make the decisions after this new moon, once all of the different opportunities that are necessary for you get revealed, Once you start to make the decisions to move forward, babies, it's going to move very, very fast. All of this energy is going to pick up. Everybody's energy is going to start moving very, very quickly, because after we get through all of the Taurus transits, we're going to go into the Gemini transits. And the thing about us Geminis is we don't sit still for nothing. So the amount of speed that will start to pick up, the amount of content that you will start to feel once you get into the new placement, once you get out of the rut that you have been stuck in, go down the different path and start to really identify with the new things that are getting revealed with this moon card. Only so much can be understood right now, but so much of this energy is about full steam ahead. It is time for these things to happen. It is time for you to make this change. It is time for these adjustments. And you will be able to, one, do something that speaks much more closely to your heart's content, but at the same time, with this King of Wands energy, that is going to be much, much more helpful in your path moving forward. It's good energy, guys. You have control of the changes. The opportunities are going to come through. As you accept those opportunities, as you accept the change, the benefits for you will be monumentous. Because what's going to happen? You're about to start a year of Jupiter in your second house of money following that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So many of you are moving more towards an energy that speaks to that next round of long-term independence and long-term changes. You just have to make the choices now towards said long-term energy. Okay. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Geminis and Gemini risings. Okay, babies, we are at the home stretch. What do I mean by that? I've been telling y'all forever, that you're on the delay. You and Sagittarius risings, y'all are on the delay. Not everything is going quite the way that you are wanting. Not everything has gone quite the way that you were expecting. And you are going to have some final things revealed that can be very, very shaky, that can lead to areas of depression if you are not prepared. But you can also have things that come through that make you very, very aware that you are closing a chapter. Hard truths. This is a new moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, endings, healing, escape. Some of you are about to escape. Some of you are about to break away from something or someone, because Saturn in your 10th has not been that much fun for a lot of you whenever it comes to career. Some of you have been having to deal with a toxic boss. And what will happen over the course of the next few weeks is like you become more aware, more connected with that something is coming to a close, something is coming to an ending. And after we get through the elements of whatever happens over these next 2 weeks, what will follow the next 2 weeks will be then all of the transits moving into your first house. Jupiter moving into your first house, Venus, the sun, and then once we get into June, Mercury. So be aware of the truth and the information that's coming through. Some of what's going to come through is going to immediately instigate levels of healing, withdrawal. Some of you are withdrawing from certain levels of responsibility. And that, again, is something that you need to do so that way you can heal. Whatever you are healing from is a long time coming. Now, the thing about Jupiter having been in your 12th house for the last year is Jupiter rules your 7th house of relationships, but also Jupiter rules your 10th house of career. Whether it is the 7th house energy, so relationships, commitments, legal obligations that are going to start to come to a close, or whether we are finally getting over the past in regards to career and our goals for the future, there's something that is meant to come to a close over the course of the next few weeks. And then after it comes to a close, after it reaches a high point, after it reaches its final levels of commitment, however that's working for you, then the energy is going to fall into your first house. Then the momentum is going to change for you. Then the activity is going to change for you. You are in a closeout of something over these next few weeks. that is going to allow for other things to really finally start to pick up and come through. I know it's a long time coming. You've been on the delay for a while. You've felt very, very stuck and blindsided. But the thing is, you're only going to be feeling stuck for so much longer. It will not completely alleviate in this new moon, just to be clear. But the thing is, there is something about what we are dealing with. We know that we have to walk away from it. So let's talk about these more negative cards first, and then we'll talk about the next one. So here we go. We have the Eight of Swords, we have the Hanged Man, and the Devil. We are dealing with the toxic boss. We are feeling stuck with this way that we thought the future was going to go. We're feeling stuck in the way that we thought our career is going to go. And it has been very, very hard, Eight of Swords, to face something else, to move towards something else. So many of you, you have felt like you were supposed to be there and you're holding on to everything, which is so not like you, by the way. But this Knight of Coins speaks to that type of energy. Like, if I don't move too fast, if I just, put my head down, keep my mouth shut, things will blow over, things will get better. And that's just the case. That's not necessarily the truth. I'm trying to get this to come back into focus. The Eight of Swords, that Hangman, and the Devil card. The slow moving energy has been you, but it's been necessary for you. So many of you are going to be energetically separating from another person, from a situation, from an opportunity, from this place in career, and move into this new direction and move into a new horizon. Many of you just have to get to a point that you're willing to speak your truth and get more in tune with that boss bitch energy. That Queen of Swords, that's you guys. Queen of Coins, that's more of an earth energy. And given that we're talking about, Jupiter going through your 12th house, which is an earth sign, understanding that your truth is going to be what impacts the way as you get closer to this Empress energy, as you're getting closer to ascending. And the thing is after you close out whatever you're closing out with the 12th house energy, a lot more attention is going to be falling on you moving forward. A lot more of your confidence is going to start to rebuild once we get into these Gemini transits. So again, you're in the closing weeks, the final few weeks of getting past the stuck energy, of getting past the fork in the road. I grabbed one more card for you guys. I felt the need to pull the card off the top, so I did. We're getting to the final weeks of this crossroads type energy, and then we're going to start to really feel like we can break away. The opportunities are going to come through over the course of the next, I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks for a lot of you. That's going to finally allow for you to separate, finally allow for you to finalize that legal situation. It's finally going to allow for you to change your industry, change your perspective, shift your momentum into the new direction. So that way you can be more in tune with the path you're wanting to go on. We have to break away from something. And for many of you, a lot of these 12th house transits are going to really make you reflective. Some of the times it can make you feel very depressed, but it is forcing you to heal in different ways. And for some of you, the best way to heal is to get out of Dodge. It is to go on a vacation. It is to go out of town, go visit family. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money if you go visit somebody, stay for the weekend, get something that allows for you to reset. And the thing about Gemini placements, a Gemini sun to a Gemini rising, is guys, we don't sit still well. And the best way for us to heal is to move and not stay stuck in the slow moving energy, and to look at the opportunities of the new path coming through so we can feel more in tune with who we are. Okay. We're gonna move this along. We're gonna get to Cancers and Cancer risings. All right, babies. All of the energy of the last few months has definitely been making you shake up some things tied to your career, tied to the different opportunities at hand. You have had some delays in where you wanted to go next. Don't worry about that. Everybody had delays. That was the Mercury retrograde. Why? Because not everything that we wanted to do was prepared for us quite yet. Not everything was ready to go at that time, at that moment. But now we're moving into a much different energy. Now, with Saturn in your ninth house, making the sextile to the new moon in your 11th, many of you are going to look at the opportunity of how you are educating others, how others are helping you learn. There will be an adjustment. Some of you are going to be looking at travel. And what we're going to start to see unveil, or what we will be unveiling to other people over the weeks ahead, is going to completely change the way that you connect with people. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're ready to debut something because as much as we've had things going through your 10th house of career, this is also a new moon in your 11th house of friends and network and colleagues. So there is something that we are ready to unveil, and we're getting closer to where we can feel that opportunity. We've been dealing with overwhelm for so long and feeling like so many things have been delayed. And it's just like, why? Why the delay? Why can't I get this going? Why doesn't everything fall in the direction that I want? Sorry, all the cards fell out. They jumped. We had to make sure the people that we surround ourselves with, the people that we are going to be connecting with, the people that we are going to be servicing, the people that we are going to be taking care of, were ready for what we were going to be unveiling. Not everybody was ready. But the good news is, once you're able to get everybody involved, get everybody up to speed, and get everybody in the know, the amount of information that you will be sharing and helping people with moving forward is going to be vast and great and helpful. Stick to the facts, stick to the truth, stick to what you've been working on, and be prepared for where we're going next. Okay. So going into the cards now. Oh, there has been a lot of overwhelm, and some of you have had to make some jumps back and forth based off of the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups. You've had to do some rethinking, reshaping in regards to where you see your goals going forward, what's been going on in your career, what's been going on in your public image. Some things that have just gone on have just directly impacted you in a public way. And there has been some level of scrutiny. Now, the one thing about the 11th house is that the 11th house, as much as it's about friends and colleagues, the 11th house can also have to do with the way that we connect to other people. And there can be a lot of like technological aspects to the 11th house. And with Uranus in your 11th house, the internet is very important. Some of you, what got delayed was because the infrastructure, the technological infrastructure was not there. It was not ready. Not all the information, Knight of Swords, that you're going to be sharing with everybody around you, Three of Wands, was ready. Certain amounts of work needed to be done before it was able to be debuted. We also have the Six of Swords and the World card. So you can see this right here. The delays were not betrayal. Yes, they were frustrating. Yes, we had some arguments to them, but the delays were not betrayal. And after we finally get these few little things lined out and these few little things unveiled for certain people over the course of the next few weeks, what you're going to see is the level of success quickly coming through, the levels of reward quickly coming through, the levels of recognition quickly coming through whenever it comes to this Six of Wands and this Eight of Wands. Whether you are the teacher in this energy or whether you are the student in this energy, the reward, the lessons, the connections will come through very, very quickly based off of the way the energy is going to play out. So I'm still very, very hopeful whenever it comes to Cancer risings with the way the energy is going moving forward. Okay. Moving this along, we're going to get to Leos and Leo risings. Your chart ruler, is in your 10th house of career. So much of your 10th house has been getting tested. Your career, your goals for the future, your public image, so much is being getting tested, and y'all have not necessarily felt like you've had the most support since last summer. And I really feel like for a lot of Leo rising, something is about to really shift and change moving forward. The way that you're going to be connecting with people is going to be vastly different moving forward. Whenever it comes to certain types of fears, whenever it comes to the legal matters, whenever it comes to business partnerships, whatever it is, you're going to start to see a whole different energy start to come together with you and for you and around you based off of the energy at play. I really like this new moon for you. Many of you, whatever starts to come through that's going to impact your way of doing things moving forward, that is going to impact your personal image, that is going to impact your goals for the future, there is a financial element there. We are waiting for the payout, the payoff. We are waiting for the green light from the accountant. We're waiting for the tax debt to be handled. Some of you are waiting for the tax bill, and that again is going to impact the way you see the future, because if you got to pay a bigger debt, you need to be aware of that. But there is a huge financial element here, whether it is debt or whether it is the benefit. There is something hugely financial in this energy that is meant to offer stability for many Leo risings. For others, you're waiting on the accountant to tell you the direction you can go now. You're going to waiting on the bank to tell you how much of a loan approval that you have. You are waiting on some type of information to come through so that way you can charge ahead with said information and get back to the level of stability and the level of desire that you wish to be in, that you wish to have. So let's talk about these cards. All right. Starting off, we have the Ace of Swords and the Nine of Swords, Nine of Wands, not swords, Nine of Wands. You coming in there? There we go. Nine of Wands. Okay. The Nine of Wands, we have been carrying a burden for a long time. The burden, the strain, the frustration, the debt. Saturn in the 8th can have a lot to do with debt. We've been carrying a burden for a very long time. And now we're waiting on some type of information. We're waiting on some type of green light. We're waiting on something to come through, some payout to come through, so that way we can finally charge ahead, Knight of Swords, with where we're going next. Because a lot of the cards and a lot of the energy for you guys, I feel like is starting to move far closer to levels of stability once certain things get revealed and once certain things start to come together. So let's talk about the next 3 cards. We have the Four of Wands, we have the Star card, and we have the Lovers card. Now, for some of you, what is starting to come together is a level of commitment in partnership, but not all of you does it feel like it's romantic partnership. It doesn't. A lot of you, it feels like what's starting to come together is going to actually be a different type of partnership, a different type of commitment. You're looking at your new roommate, you're looking at your new business partner, you're looking at something else that is meant to come together based off of what gets revealed. And again, whatever we're going to is meant to offer you guys a lot of stability. I don't get to say stability to everybody, but we're trying to reach some level, some goal tied to personal stability. Once certain things are revealed with this Queen of Wands and this Emperor card, once certain things are revealed, we're going to feel more empowered. We're going to feel more passion. And so much of these next few weeks, whenever it comes to the things that are coming to light, the things that are starting to impact your goals moving forward, they're not just going to impact you, but they're also going to change the way that you connect with other people. Now, we did just have an eclipse in your 9th house. So not all of you are going through this in the sense of like a career. Some of you are dealing with things tied to your education. And what's starting to happen is you're starting to finally close out something tied to your education. And that is, again, going to change the way that you connect with people, because now you're not going to be a student. You're going to be a graduate. You're going to go into a field. You're going into another arena. Some of you are dealing with things in your kids' schools that, again, once certain things are fully lined out, they're going to impact the way that you connect to children of others. The way you connect with people is meant to shift and change. You're waiting on a green light. You're waiting on the approval. You're waiting on the payout. Whatever we've been waiting on, once we finally get the green light, it's going to allow for a whole new way of connecting, a whole new set of goals, and a whole new set of empowerment once we get the go ahead. We've been beating our head against a brick wall for a very, very long time, and we're getting closer to getting something to finally line out whenever it comes to career. And whenever it comes to career, your goals for the future and everything else, these next few weeks are very important for you guys. And it is going to allow for us to finally alleviate certain things tied to another person, certain things tied to legal matters, overcoming our fears, and finally moving into a better direction moving forward. Okay. Moving along, we're going to get to Virgos and Virgo risings. All right, my loves. This is a new moon in your 9th house. It's a travel house. Your chart ruler, however, is still recovering from a Mercury retrograde. And I'm going to be a little bit more locked onto Saturn in your 7th and that Mercury retrograde that just occurred in your 8th house. Because so many of you, you're still dealing with something that is going to impact your finances, and you've been dealing with something tied to another person. Now, for some of you, that's a business partner. Saturn's energy in the 7th is having to do with a business partner. For others of you, you're waiting on something from an authority figure. You're waiting on something from a legal matter. You're waiting on something from the government, and you're waiting on something that is going to directly impact your financial future. Now, some of you, you're going through divorce. Saturn in the 7th house is putting so much strain between you and partnership, and it's telling you it's time to separate out those assets. And you might not get the winning half of those assets the way the eclipse axis went. You might be having to heal from the connection that you have lost, depending on how this has been going for you. We're moving into a new direction, and there's going to be some choices that need to be made, but some of those choices are not your choices to make. They're actually the choices of another person, specifically, again, an authority figure. Whatever goes on with Saturn in the 7th, whatever is going on with that authority figure aspect, whatever is going on in your financial gains, and for some of you, the Mercury aspect is having to deal with like tax debt. Some of you, you're having to deal with a shift in your investments. You're having to do something different in regards to your insurance, super mundane things. But all of these are going to impact a level of experience. Many of you are learning in the moment. And that now takes me to the new moon in the 9th house, having to deal with institutions, having to deal with bits of travel, having to deal with things that are testing your faith and testing your patience, testing whether you are in the right field, testing your passions. And after we get through the next few weeks, a lot of those transits that are going through Taurus are going to round into your 10th house of career. So much of your current experience and things that you're having to deal with whenever it comes to institutions and your health or the health of somebody else is going to pivot you into a new focus in regards to where you're going to see career and future moving forward. There are changes that are starting to shift through that I need you guys to be prepared for. Now, A lot of this energy in the cards is actually really good for you. So let's talk about some of these things. We have something new coming through, but I don't feel like with you guys, all of you are going to be going through new energies directly in the new moon, but I still have the new coming through. The Fool card, this speaks to new beginnings, new chapters. Ace of Coins, new financial changes. Again, Mercury is in your 8th house. Payouts, taxes, debt, inheritance, investment properties. There's a lot of new things that speak to the financial here and the decisions at hand. But I do feel like for a lot of you, the decisions, the juggling, the Two of Coins, they're not your decisions. They're based off somebody else and something else. The Three of Wands speaks to the things that go on in your surroundings. The Justice card is speaking to the things that require balance. One of those two eclipses that we just had was in Libra. A lot of what's going on with the people around you, a lot of the decisions that are going on tied to other people. Once they make said decision, things will start moving very, very quickly. And many of you are going to find yourselves on a different path, going towards a different passion, going towards a different career, as you have to pursue something different in your path with this Queen of Wands. Now, you might not be pursuing a different career, but going into a different position. You might be having to take on additional responsibilities that have been delegated to you from another person. You have so much change that is rounding into the energy that for many of you is going to put you into an area that you're not used to being. And that's not going to happen overnight. But it's that part of that long-term energy of like, it's going to round you into some things that you're not used to dealing with. But some of the changes that are going to follow this new moon are going to directly impact your home life. They're going to impact your career. They're going to impact your goals. They're going to shift your attention into a different direction. And that shift in attention is taking you further and further away from some type of commitment. Or they're pushing you based off of the decision of another, of your partner, of a supervisor, of a person that we see as the person of influence. Saturn's energy is so strong in your 7th house, and he's been doing a number for a while, but I think we're getting to a final element with you guys. I don't want to say final, but a larger plateaued element of what he's doing and where he's pushing you. With that Three of Wands energy, so much of what's going on is directly pushing you, but it's not you making the decisions. It's somebody in your surroundings forcing you to make just some decisions. So be prepared. Some of you are in a waiting game. You're just waiting on the push, or you're waiting on the opportunity, depending on how that's going for you. Okay. Moving this along, we're going to get to Libra and Libra risings. Oh, my loves, my loves, my loves. Y'all, every one of you, when I talk to you, I swear you're the biggest ones in the game going, I feel like I'm waiting. I feel like I'm just waiting. And that's because you are. That's because so much of the chart is in that other side. It's in the 7th house, it's in the 6th house, and it's in the 8th house. And that means for so many of you to get things going moving forward, you're waiting on the opportunity. So many of you have been waiting on the dust to settle, so that way we can start to make those changes moving forward. Over the coming weeks, there will be a new opportunity that's meant to come through. There will be new horizons, new partnerships, new financial things coming through that is finally going to allow for some of the arguments and the tension to finally die down. Now, let's be real. Saturn in your 6th has had to do with elders. It has had to do with responsibilities. It's put a lot of weight and pressure in regards to your health. It has put you in having to deal with things in regards to pets and animals and livestock. Some of you, the financial opportunities that are going to be coming through after this new moon's energy, this unexpected opportunity type energy, is going to lead to new ways of caring for yourself and caring for other people. For other people, Whatever is going to be financially impacting you with the 8th house new moon is based off of the condition of the elder. It is going to be based off of the responsibilities that we're having to take on. Some of you, whatever financial things are coming through, are going to later impact your children and your home life. And I do mean later when I say that next part. I do mean later. We have certain things that are coming through, and you will see a shift in your opportunities. Some of you are just seeing the shift in your partner and their opportunities, and you might be getting questioned as to like, what are you doing to change certain things? There can be some, again, tensions and arguments because not every opportunity as to where you're going next has come through, and that is okay. Not every opportunity is meant to come through at the beginning. So many of us, we were waiting on this Mercury retrograde to shake things up, to create new opportunities. And that is what's going to come through over the weeks ahead. People had to leave something to create space for you. Some of you are getting more and more accustomed to your new role and your new responsibility in where you're going in partnership. So you've actually already started the situation. You just had to go through a revising and a restructuring to get things going now. Some of you, you had to wait for the restructuring, the revising that was tied to the Mercury retrograde. So that way the opportunities can finally come through over the weeks ahead. So let's talk about the overwhelm, the frustration, and the combativeness. So we've got some tension cards here. We have this 5 of coins, 5 of swords, the 7 of wands, and the 7 of cups. That 5 of coins speaks very, very highly of the fact that this is an 8th house new moon. Some of you, you're getting blindsided with, again, financial responsibilities tied to an elder. You're having to take extra care of an elder. You're having to do something additional around an elder based off of that sextile to Saturn. For some of you, you're telling the elder that you cannot be financially responsible for something anymore. And as we get closer to the sun's conjunction to Uranus, you're going to liberate yourself from certain connections and certain responsibilities. That can come through too. Some of you might be having some type of exciting breakthrough in the energy that's going to finally allow for the arguments and the tension and the overwhelm that we've been dealing with to finally fall into a different level of balance. Now, notice I said balance, please. I got 2 cards here that speak to balance. I have the Justice card and I have the Temperance card. The Justice card is a part of Libra. That is your chart ruler. That is the symbol for you. Justice, balance. We need things in balance, but the Temperance card is internal balance. We want our head and heart to fall into alignment. We have some type of balance, physical balance in our surroundings, as well as the internal balance of something going on to finally fall into place. Now I'm going to play devil's advocate with whenever we talked about these balances and that overwhelm energy too. The new moon is also a secrets house. It doesn't have to be your secrets. But part of what can come through for a lot of you that's going to finally allow for balance to be restored is for secrets to come to light and to come to the surface. Be aware of people's secrets, whether they're being divulged to you or their shit is coming to the surface. And I do feel like if we have the secrets energy going on, that for a lot of you, it's the secrets of other people, and you need to be prepared for that. However, we do have new things coming. These are your final 2 cards. A lot of the new energy that is starting to arise, because not all of you are going through the secrets. I was playing devil's advocate by mentioning all of that. But a lot of what is starting to arise and starting to take shape, again, is going to allow for new chapters and potentially later on something that is going to impact the aspect of children, the aspect of investment, the aspects of opportunity. We've had a lot of tension. We've had a lot of overwhelm. We've had a lot of arguments, but that's because, again, so much of the energy has been tied to the other side of the chart. You're looking at everyone else, dealing with everyone else. So much of what is going on has not been your decision. One more element to think about is the fact that Saturn is in your sixth house of health, and you do still have the South Node going through your first house. And what can be impacting your finances, new moon in the eighth house, is the responsibility that you need to do to reflect on your own personal health and whatever is necessary to take care of your body. Some of you are investing money towards the care of your body. Some of you are having to take a step back from work, which is going to impact your finances because of something that is going on in the body. Be aware that things in the body are very important right now while the South Node is going through your first house. You've been having issues with body dysmorphia. Don't be surprised by that. South Node does that. It activates that levels of dysmorphia. Some of you are starting to like break away and lose certain things in the body. And as you're starting to make those changes, you're realizing that you got the loose skin or you got something else and you're like, maybe I want to get Botox. It's a possibility. All of these are little mundane ways that we can deal with that new moon, big ways and mundane. And I wanted you guys to be aware of all of it. Okay. Okay. Moving this along. We're gonna get to Scorpios and Scorpio risings. Hey, babies, it's us. It's me, it's you, it's us. We're here. Oh, in the most mundane sense, a new moon in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters, making a sextile from Saturn in your fifth house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. Some of y'all might be looking at new romantic connections. Let's just be clear about that. Some of you, it's not new romantic connections at all. And I am not the romance reader. Let's be clear about that. I'm not. But that is the truth. Others of you, you're starting to deal with legal matters, commitments, something else tied to other people that is impacting your personal happiness, Saturn in the fifth. It is impacting your children, Saturn in the fifth. It is impacting the way you're seeing the future because we're waiting on certain decisions. Now, some of you are going to finally commit to the idea of liberation in the weeks ahead. And whatever you start to liberate yourself from is going to lead to big financial changes because, again, we're getting closer to Jupiter going into your eighth house. Now, for some of you, the commitments that you are going into have a secret element that is developing. And that can lead to affairs. So let's be real about some things. I don't mind the idea of commitments, but you better make sure you are doing your diligence with the other side. If you're doing something shady, you better not get caught because you can get caught. Maybe not in the immediate, but whenever we get close to that Mars retrograde, oh yeah, you can get caught. So you need to make sure whatever you are working on right now, whoever you are doing things with, you better be on the up and up. Let me be absolutely clear about that. Oh, but not everybody's going into shady behavior. A lot of people are going into something very, very new. You're awakening to new possibilities and you are awakening to new passions. And you are finally seeing the way that you can separate from an old way of doing things, separate from the past, and take new steps forward that can lead to levels of financial freedom. We just had a huge shakeup energy in your sixth house of health. How you care for yourself and how you care for other people, but how you are of service. And the energy tied to how you are of service is going to lead to, again, new commitments. The new things you're doing in business are going to lead to new commitments. As more and more of those new commitments are coming through, they're going to lead to financial changes. And the better your finances look, the happier you are. Saturn in the fifth. Okay. I know not all of you are doing well with Saturn in the fifth. I got to be honest, like since Saturn has entered Pisces, Saturn has been my time lord for the last year and will continue to be next year because I'm going through a third house and fourth house perfection here. So I'm loving Saturn in the fifth, but I know not all of you are. So let's be clear about that. So again, let's talk about if we're looking at certain commitments right now, 3 of Swords, 10 of Swords. You need to make sure that you're making clean breaks before you're making commitments to somebody else, because you can be going into affair territory. And you need to be aware of that. Other people can be taking you into affair territory. You need to be aware of that. So let's not do stupid shit, guys. Okay? We have control. We usually do. Aside from the idea that there can be some negative with that Three of Swords and the Ten of Swords, because Three of Swords is a betrayal card. Let's be clear. If we're sticking to the right information, we're sticking to the truth, we can alleviate certain karmic elements tied to that 8th house. But the other side of that is some of the information, and again, the commitments that we are making and how we have been caring for other people can lead to bountiful, helpful, healthy new beginnings and new chapters over the weeks ahead, things that will directly impact your finances. You have some kind of opportunity that's coming through, something that once that possibility comes through, once certain things are revealed, I'm trying to get that to stay in balance, so I apologize. We will have certain things that allow for your head and heart to feel like they are in alignment. A lot of this energy can lead to personal happiness. It can lead to romantic connections. It can lead to something going into a new chapter and new commitments and new way of doing things. And as we get more committed to the new connections, alignment, opportunity, healing, that epiphany type energy with the Star card, this can be a really good energy for us over the course of the next month and a half. Use your energy wisely. Now, with the Knight of Wands and the King of Cups, again, some of what's coming through and the commitments we are making, they are about our passion, they are about our drive, they are about our business, and they're going to lead to financial adjustments. For other people, the King of Cups energy, we are pursuing something tied to our heart's desire. Now, one other thing that I'm thinking of is whenever coming back to the first 4 cards again, this 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, Ace of Swords. Some of where you might be at with a lot of the 7th house energy can also still have to do with legal obligations that are around your children or affecting your children. With this 10 of Swords, some of you are going through divorce. Some of you are going through some kind of lawsuit. Some of you are going through something that's got you in a courtroom that later is going to result in you having to pay a lot of money out. And Jupiter going into your 8th is not going to be fun. It's going to create debt. It depends on your karma. For some Scorpio risings, we're going into major opportunities that are going to lead to financial gains. We're committing to the right people, and it's going to lead to financial gains. But for others of you, depending on how the other transits have been going, we're dealing with a payout. We're having to pay something and someone off based off of the impact of children. You're finalizing your divorce and you're going to have to start paying child support. That's a mundane way of saying that. You're filing for divorce and you know that whatever that legal matter is going to impact your children. That's a Monday of dealing with that. There are negatives and positives. We're all in different areas. Some of us are looking at new commitments and new love connections that are going to be vast and grand, and they're going to result in something else. Some of you are falling into new love connections that could potentially lead to affairs later, and I'm being very realistic about that. But others, we're looking at the idea of service and our career, and we're making new commitments moving forward that's going to allow for financial gains. Which road are you on? Are you dealing with the negatives or are you dealing with the positives? Again, personal choice and control going into the next few weeks worth of energy is very important. Very important. Okay. Okay. Let's move along. We're gonna get to Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. I'm gonna say the same thing to you guys as I said to Gemini risings. We're finally getting closer to things moving into a better direction for you guys. You have had so much change, an energetic wave pattern, really changing the way that you care for yourself, things as to how you care for other people, things tied to health. that are starting to really make sense now. We were moving too quickly before. We weren't able to focus on certain things. And there will be changes in your routine, changes in your work, changes in your health that are going to impact the family or are being required by someone in the family. So that way we can get a better idea of how something is going on. Many of you feel like you can't communicate with certain people. And no matter how hard you try to communicate with them, it's like they don't understand. I get it. Oh, the thing about the sixth house is it's said to be a house of bad luck. That's why health is so important and taking care of yourself is so important whenever we go through sixth house transits. Your chart ruler, Jupiter, has now been in your sixth house of health for a year. And over these next few weeks, we're going to wrap this up. Everything that has happened that has impacted your health, the well-being of your family, your routine, your work, all of the work that you have been doing is finally about to reach a bit of a climax, a transference in the energy, and it's going to start to result in a new way of connecting with people. If you have been doing the work, beating the pavement, changing your marketing, doing everything you can to really adjust the way people see you, the benefit of that is about to come through. It is. It's not going to come through in this new moon. This new moon is the final wave of energy of testing your patience, making you adjust your routine, making you more aware of the type of work that you are doing, the service that you are doing, the messages that you are doing. Because again, it's going to impact the way that you are going to be meeting other people in the months ahead. Now, in the mundane sense, a new moon in the sixth house, sextiling Saturn in the fourth. Some of y'all might feel like it's time to get a family pet, or you're going to be dealing with something tied to the family pet, tied to livestock, tied to this other entity. And there's a responsibility involved, whether you are taking responsibility or leaving some kind of responsibility behind. Be aware that there can be some things tied to those responsibilities. Again, many of you are starting to really transition things in your routine and in your way of doing things moving forward, because you're going to start making a lot of changes. So let's talk about all of the things again over the course of the last year. Jupiter in your sixth house has really made you adjust things in your career, in your health, in your well-being, so that way you can break away from certain toxic patterns with this devil card. So you can finally transform and overcome a lot of the things that has been bothering you and messing with your mind over the course of the last few years. And it has been a few years now. With this death card and this devil card, so many of you are trying to break away from the past. And the more you live in your truth, the more things are starting to become clear in regards to the way that you wish to do things, your intuition, and again, that hard information, those hard facts, that hard truth, Ace of Swords. The Judgment card, again, over the course of the next few weeks, the way that you have been doing things, your practices, the way that you've been doing business, the changes in your routine are going to have revelation involved. People are going to recognize that change. A High Priestess, intuitively, you know that. You know that recognition is coming. You know that you've been on the right path. You know that you've been doing the right thing. You have just been waiting on other people to notice it. The thing about some of these other people, especially because you have Jupiter going through Taurus, is the fact that so many people get very stuck in their ways. They're stubborn. Sometimes you're the stubborn one, not so much. But there's been a stubborn energy of not being willing to accept change. Certain people have been very, very stubborn about some things. The thing about the Emperor is he can be very, very set in his ways. However, moving forward, we have this Ace of Wands, this new message, this new path, this new beginning. Again, this new way of connecting with people that is starting to unfold. Little by little, you're starting to see the writing on the wall unfolding. New opportunities are coming through and unfolding that is going to allow for people to see you in a much different energy moving forward with this Queen of Cups. It's going to speak to your heart's content. Now, some of the things that you're going to have to start to deal with in your routine can, again, still fall back to the responsibility of family. You can be seeing something going on, something unfolding with Saturn in your fourth that is directly impacting your routine in another way. So some people, you're going in a new direction, you're going to be connecting with people in this whole positive way, and it's going to be great. For other people, the impact is going to be, so many of you are going to have to adjust things in your work and in your routine because the wellness of family members is starting to become apparent. And we're going to have to do something different with our family, around our family, to make sure that they are in a good place and that they are being taken care of. It's like we're starting to see the writing on the wall for certain symptoms. We're seeing an adjustment. We're seeing a change. And there is a responsibility very much deeply in this energy. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Capricorns and Capricorn risings. Hello, my loves. Did y'all find your way back into the jar yet? For those of you that are just listening to me for the first time, I have a running joke that I collect Capricorn placements in jars, and that's my joke. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you are very happy that you are in the jar, but others are like, why am I in a jar? It's because I collect you guys in jars. It's fun for me. Anyways, this is a new moon in your fifth house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. There is new opportunities on the horizon, shifts in your luck. I've been talking about shifts in your luck for a while. Some of you can be seeing a new responsible tone, a new way of communicating with your children with this new moon in your fifth house. Some of you need to finally use your words. I've been saying this for a while. And that's because Saturn in your third house has been making you heal the way that you communicate things. It has pushed you into realizing you need to change your verbiage. You need to change your strategy. You need to be more committed to levels of healing. And for you to be committed to those levels of healing, we also have to let go of the past. For you to have new ways of connecting with loved ones, you have to let go of the past. Some of you are going to be doing some very unexpected things in the weeks ahead. You're going to make some surprises. Some of you are going to be surprised by other people, specifically loved ones, specifically your children, based off of the energy at hand. Expect a lot of shifts around kids and personal happiness following this new moon. And a lot of things are going to move very, very quickly based off of the way the energy is starting to unfold for you guys. You guys like to move slow. You don't necessarily want to do everything in the fastest way. You don't necessarily want to rush into a lot of changes. You like to instigate changes, but you like to be sure. That's the earth in you. But again, so many of you need to, again, have some very healing conversations, Saturn in the third, with loved ones, with your children. Some of you are going to see the changes in your children based off of that new moon. But with this Devil card and the Seven of Swords, so many of you are getting stuck in the past, and we're getting stuck in a toxic behavioral pattern. We're getting stuck with the idea that we're waiting for somebody to betray us. We should not stay stuck in this. Saturn in Pisces has been forcing you guys to heal. Now, some of you might actually be seeing some type of betrayal around your children. That's a possibility. It really kind of comes down to the way this is manifesting for some of you. Not all of you are going to be dealing with levels of betrayal, but those were some of the cards that came out. Some of you are going to be having to deal with some hard decisions between individuals, between your children, between the potential of love interest, whatever it is. But there is something about a decision at hand. So we have this Two of Swords, this Ace of Coin, this Knight of Cups, and this Knight of Coins. So some of you are being forced to make decisions. The children are arguing, and you're having to potentially come in as the judgment maker and potentially choosing sides, telling one person you're wrong and he's right. And this is going to lead to some frustration. This is going to lead to a betrayal. This is going to be leading to some tension in the family, arguments amongst the siblings, arguments amongst the children. That's a possibility. Some of you are going to be seeing disruptions in the home life based off Mars now being in Aries. Some of you are going to be finally taking on some home renovations and home remodeling. And that's going to speak to your creative side with the new moon in the 5th house. The more creative we can become, the happier we can become. So not everything that we are doing is about choices in the negative sense. Sometimes it's just trying to choose the contractor. Some of you are looking at the potential of love interests. And again, we're looking at the idea of choices. It's so rare that you guys would put yourself in that position, but there is the possibility. And not every choice is going to be easy with that Two of Swords, but we have some new things coming. And again, we have a lot of shifts in your luck. The final two cards, we have the Sun card and the Eight of Wands. Once we break away from one way of thinking and one way of doing things, and we start to move in this new direction, if we get the kids to round up their energy and they start to move in the new direction, if we get something going on in the house finally working and we start to move in the new direction, things start to move quickly again. But in this moment, we have some slow decisions going on. We have slow adjustments going on. But a lot of these adjustments, again, are going to lead to long-term changes. So be very aware of the selections at hand. Now, the thing about Saturn being your chart ruler is some of you have to be the most responsible person in the room. And you're going to have some very responsible conversations with a loved one, with a child. Be aware of that. Be aware of the weight of your role in whatever is being discussed, as well as their perspective. Their perspective is valid. Your role in certain things can be valid. You might not always like what you have to hear. That's not betrayal when somebody tells you the truth. Might hurt your feelings, might hurt your ego, but it's not betrayal. But there's so much that speaks to new energy in regards to your luck, in regards to your personal happiness, in regards to connections with love and creativity. And a lot of the decisions in those new areas are yours to make, whether that's the contractor, the finishes, the disputes, potential love interests, whatever it is. We're moving in a direction that speaks to decisions that are yours to make. Shifts in your luck are yours to deal with, are yours to make. Shifts in your happiness are yours to make. And whatever happens after you make these decisions, you're going to get busier. There'll be a lot of things going on. Hot girl summer. Let's have it. Let's do it. I don't care if you're a dude. I'm still saying it. Anyways, moving along. For Aquarius and Aquarius risings, this is a new moon in your 4th house of home, home life, family, roots, ancestry, genetics. That Mercury retrograde in the last eclipse was in your 3rd house. And a lot of you have been dealing with the weight of your decisions and whether you have made the right decisions. And after said decisions were made months ago, now we're seeing more and more of the results. And some of the results of this are going to deeply impact the home life. They are going to deeply impact the family. And for some of you, it's even going to deeply impact your pocketbook. So let's talk about some of the mundane ways that this can come through first. Saturn, one of your chart rulers, is in your 2nd house of money, your assets, your stuff. There. And it's making a sextile to the new moon in your 4th house of home, home life, and family. I'm sick of the way this room looks. It's time to renovate. I'm done. And that means you're about to spend some money to do some repairs or some changes at the house. For others, you are about to sell the family home. You're liberating yourself from certain connections, from certain ties. Why are you liberating yourself? Because you're ready for something new. Uranus, your other chart ruler, is in that fourth house of home, life, and family. So many of you are finally coming to terms with you're ready to heal and let go of something, because we had that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. You're ready to heal and let go of something so that way you can finally close out certain chapters from the past. It's a part of that healing aspect of Pluto now being in your first house. Again, I've said this to you guys for a while. There are things from the past that you need to heal from. And for you to finally heal from them, that means we have to make adjustments in the family with our surroundings. Not everybody is going to like that part of the energy. For a lot of Aquarius risings, whatever you are doing, the decisions that you are making that are starting to impact your family, it can lead to tension, it can lead to frustration, and it can lead to arguments in the moment. And you need to be prepared for that. However, in the long run, the benefits are huge. Whenever it comes to what's being revealed, some of you are having something revealed directly about a family member that you were not anticipating. And again, it is making you aware of the decisions that you need to make. It is validating the decisions that you have already made. And it is really adjusting the way that you wish to communicate with certain people moving forward. There is a different level of responsibility in this air. There's a different level of scrutiny in this air. And some of you, you're having to heal. Some of you, you're having to heal your family. Others of you are having to make a very, very hard decision that is going to deeply impact your mental health, your personal happiness, your well-being, and the well-being of your children over the months ahead. For some of you, it has nothing to do with children at all, but it has to do with your personal happiness and your creativity and what you desire. And whatever your decisions that you are making, whatever you're about to liberate yourself from, because for a lot of Aquarius risings, you're about to liberate yourself from something. Whatever you are about to liberate yourself from is again going to speak to how you see your personal happiness moving forward whenever it comes to the changes at hand. So you guys got a lot of cards, and I'm actually not surprised by this. I've had a lot of conversations with you Aquarius risings as of late. So let's talk about the tensions and the frustrations and the argument and the overwhelm and what has gone on. Pluto in your first has really pushed for you guys to deal with some things, specifically things from the past, things that we need to deal with. And it's going to lead to a lot of discussion. It's already been leading to discussions. And it is also leading to levels of frustration, arguments, and combativeness with the Five of Wands and the Seven of Wands. The thing about the Seven of Wands is the combativeness and the arguing with the Seven of Wands is we're arguing with a purpose. So much of the energy over the last few months has really showed that the decisions that you made before are now starting to come full circle. We're now seeing the other side of something. We're now seeing the full elements of something as to how we move forward. The full elements of the decisions and the seeds that were planted before are starting to come through. And this all speaks to that. That's why I'm putting these together. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Two of Coins, and the Seven of Coins. Many of you made decisions months ago that now time, Wheel of Fortune, Seven of Coins, we're starting to see the full effects of something produce. We're starting to see the full elements of something come through. We're starting to see the other side of something or someone, and it is validating in many ways the decisions that have been made. And now whenever it comes to our focus moving forward, we're realizing to keep the balance, we have to make some very interesting, hard, intricate, intracool decisions that is going to directly impact our personal happiness. That's going to directly impact our wealth. It's going to impact our creativity. It's going to impact our children. It is going to impact our inner child work and our need to heal from something. Because the first rounds of decisions have now led to something being more revealed. There is a balance. There is a balance at play. And for all of this balance to make sense, and for the full impact of the decisions that have come through to make sense, we have to accept the good with the bad. Now, again, for some of you, in the most mundane sense, this new moon in your fourth house is going to be you spending some type of extra money or gaining some type of extra money because we're either doing something new in the house, we're selling the house, we're getting rid of the family home, we're looking at the new chapter as to where we're going to go next, and we're making certain decisions towards our own personal happiness. Even if it doesn't feel like happiness in the moment, in the long term, it is towards our personal happiness. And given the fact that I'm not getting new cards, these are the same cards already. Given the fact that we're talking about the 7 of coins and this 10 of cups, a lot of what's coming through is long-term energy. The revelations of the decisions and the communication that have recently come through is playing into long-term energy. The situations that are at hand that are starting to impact the home life and impact the family, this is long-term energy for you guys. It's a very intricate pattern that I've been seeing for Aquarius risings. I've been seeing it for you guys and Scorpio risings and Leo risings, like the fixed signs. The pattern is very, very intricate as to what's moving forward. It's not that way with all the signs, but for Aquarius risings, the dominance of what Pluto in your first is doing is forcing you to break away from certain toxic people. Many of you have already made the decisions to break away. And now you're more focused on the healing and the repercussions and how we can do some healing. And whatever shakeups are starting to happen, whatever you are starting to move away from and yet at the same time move towards, is going to speak to long-term personal happiness, long-term creativity, long-term adjustments for your children, but in the most beneficial way possible based off of the long-term transits. And this 7 of coins, I haven't gotten this with a bunch of the other signs. This has really been for you guys. You're in long game energy, and I need you guys to be prepared for that. So much of where we're going next is going to speak to how personal happiness is going to be. The wellness and the happiness within your family is going to be. There's a very big energetic pattern change that is around your guys' energy. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to bump this one more time. We're going to get to Pisces and Pisces risings. Oh, babies, I need y'all to be prepared that sometimes you're the assholes. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm not saying that to everybody, but some of you are going to really feel that you can hold another person accountable in a way that you haven't been able to hold them before with the energy around this new moon. You're going to be holding your siblings accountable. You're going to be holding another person accountable for their decisions, for the way that they communicate. There's so much energy for Pisces risings that speaks to holding another person accountable. And that's because of Saturn in your first. Now, when I was saying some of this in the intro, I haven't got to say this to everybody, but Saturn is in your first. So a lot of you are looking at the decisions of other people, the communication of other people, the financial discrepancies around other people, because again, that Mercury retrograde was in your second house of money. And you are going to be the asshole in the room with Saturn in your first. You're looking at the full impact of something and you're asking questions. You're asking the why. You're asking the how. You want to know what the hell brought you guys to this decision. I want to know. Now, unless you have Capricorn placements already, Saturn in the first, or Virgo placements in a certain regard, even Aquarius placements, a lot of people are not used to you guys having a backbone and they want to argue with you. They're not necessarily happy. That's okay. You can start to have some things coming up around siblings around this new moon. In the most mundane sense, some of you can be looking at the idea of a new moon in the third house with Saturn in your first. You're having to make a very responsible decision about travel, or you are suddenly looking at the idea of traveling, or you're suddenly buying a new car. That's third house type of energy. Not all of you are going to go out and buy a car. Not all of you are looking at that type of responsibility. The energetic pattern and the energetic wave that got activated in that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is going to lead to a different awareness in the communication around your home life, around your family, around your past things that need to be healed, past wounds that need to be healed. Not all of you are ready to do the healing yet, but it's going to start to make you aware of it in the weeks ahead. I do feel like in the moment, in the new moon, you guys are going to have a lot of the mundane energy. It's just with Saturn in your first, you are either the one being responsible for somebody else's energy, or you are going to be able to pass some type of judgment. Again, we're holding somebody else accountable, or we're being forced to accept certain responsibilities based off of, again, the energies at hand. It's an interesting new moon because not all of you are going to be prepared for that responsibility, but also not everybody is used to your level of energy and that backbone. I'm telling you, Pisces risings, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, and the ones that are positively accepting Saturn in the first, because the way that has come through around so many of you, it's been beautiful. So let's talk about some of the tension and some of the arguments and some of the frustration. We have this Two of Swords, we have the Five of Swords, and we have the Seven of Wands, okay? Two of Swords, hard decisions. Again, some of you are doing something really mundane and you're making some type of decision. Car repair, having to send some extra money, you're having to change something in the marketing, the communications, and the branding, you're redoing a resume, and you're sending some things out there knowing that whatever you're putting out there in the world, you're going to have to defend, explain, or something later on with the Seven of Wands. However, not all of you are going into something with a purpose. Some of you are questioning the purpose of other people. And that takes me back to this Five of Swords energy. There's some tension, there's some frustration. And again, not everybody, Four of Swords, is prepared for the level of accountability that you are going to hold other people to. Not everybody is prepared for you to come down on them. Not everybody is prepared for the level of responsibility that is falling on them based off Saturn in the first. And I need you guys to be prepared. Some of the decisions and communication that's going to be going on can later result in some type of additional responsibility falling on you. Even if it's not falling on you in the moment, it will lead to additional levels of responsibility. I'm not saying you're irresponsible. I'm saying you need to be prepared from the additional levels of responsibility that are likely going to come up later on. So this takes me to the next few cards. There is an energetic pattern change that came through with that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that as the weeks continue, you're going to see, again, that focus and that shift in the awareness of how things are going to go with your family. This takes me to the next four cards. We have the Knight of Cups. There's something that is going to be pursued, something that speaks to our heart's desires. Venus, our heart, is back in Taurus. So there is something that speaks to our heart's desires and this passion. This Judgment card, this Ace of Wands, there is some type of news or communication or decision that is meant to be revealed. Either you're doing the revealing, or again, you're questioning what's being revealed and whatever brought us to said decision. With the King of Cups, we look at the King of Cups and we look at somebody who is ready to lead with his heart, ready to follow his heart's desires. Live in that moment of desire. We're not pursuant always with the Knight. like we are with the Knight, whenever it comes to the King, we are trying to obtain and hold on to with the King. Some of you are going to start some levels of communication with somebody from the past that, again, it's a part of the energy that we must heal from, that we must let go of. We can have certain people from the past that are going to come through that, again, they're not going to expect that level of accountability that you need to hold them to. They're not going to expect the way that you talk to them, because they're coming into something raw and new, not knowing that you have been going through this energetic strengthening of your tenacity for over a year now with Saturn in your first. And little by little, since we've gone through late February, more and more people have become more aware of that personal strength within you, of that tenacity, but not everybody's there yet. And whenever you start to hold certain people accountable to an energy that they're not prepared for, it means they're also not prepared for you. And a lot of this Judgment and Ace of Wands energy is putting that other person in check. When I was saying in the intro that some people are going to get the green light, you guys are the one that will be giving green lights. If somebody's going through scrutiny, a lot of times y'all are the ones given the scrutiny, because Saturn is in your first. Good, bad, or ugly, there are shifts in the ideas, shifts in the communication, shifts in the way that we are doing things that are going to impact all aspects of family once Jupiter goes into Gemini. All aspects, not just the home life in the mundane sense of the four, corners of your house. I'm jokingly saying four corners because most houses nowadays are not four corners, but hear me out. The four corners of your house. Sometimes it's going to have to do with the extensions of family. And I need a lot of you to be prepared for the communication and the verbiage of certain things that's starting to come through to be something that can not just impact the family, but is directly around mothers and matrons. And again, I need you all to be more and more prepared that there will be responsibilities that are starting to unveil themselves that are going to fall onto you. That level of responsibility, it's going to be different for everybody, but there are responsibilities that are coming about that are going to fall onto you. Some of you are prepared for that. Some of y'all going to get real mad about it, but it is necessary. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'm not going to do some kind of heavy close. I feel like a lot of people, if you've listened to me for a while, you can be very prepared that whatever is coming through in this new moon is long wave energy. It's not just the new moon. It's going to be a part of the energy that follows over the course of the next 2 weeks. But there is something that feels very, very revealing in this new moon that is going to impact everything else that's coming through in the last few weeks. And so much of this does feel like either a level of scrutiny with Saturn sextiling that new moon, or it is a green light with Saturn sextiling that new moon. And we're all in different energies. So I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all of the shares. Thank you for all of the support. And I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.